Hi, John Hinn with the Pulsing Cinema, and the movie of the day is the 1983 Austrian serial killer film Angst, I guess otherwise known as Fear, otherwise known as Schizophrenia. I think it was released in Europe and France under the title Schizophrenia in a slightly modified version. Starring Erwin Leder, the wide-eyed actor from Das Boot. You know him. He's, if you know Das Boot, you know that tall, lanky guy with those crazy eyes. He plays the serial killer in this film, and the film is just I don't know, you could call it the Austrian, the German answer, the European answer to Henry Portrait serial killer. Maybe. I don't know, you could. I mean, like Henry Portrait serial killer, Angst is vaguely based on a real-life serial killer who killed 3 people in 1980, who was just this incredible psycho killer. But the killer in Angst we meet him in prison. He tried to kill his mother. I believe he apparently killed this old woman we're kind of aware of halfway. And he's been in prison for 10 years, and so he's released. And this film is just a very subjective film where we are just basically put in the perspective of this killer as he basically stalks a new victim. That's the only thing on his mind. He's lied to the psychiatrist and the healthcare workers at the prison and told them that he all he dreams about is butterflies and rainbows in order to get a release, in order to find a new victim, in order to fulfill the psychological needs inside of him. So he tries to find a few people. He's very kind of skittish, runs away, eventually does find a group of people in a house in this gigantic manor home. I wonder where this movie was filmed. The central location is this gigantic multi-story manor house which has a pool and the whole underground tunnel and all kinds of stuff. And so we follow him as he goes through this horrible series of murders. Almost accidentally he goes through this series of murders because he seems to be the title of the film, Angst, Fear, is that this character doesn't really evoke much fear. He's himself is fearful. So there's a real strange dichotomy in his personality, that there's parts of his personality that are very antisocial and very much drawn in. At the same time, he has these needs for power and control. And so the film is just basically a very psychological portrait, definitely not an objective film. This is told from the perspective of the killer. And the film was shot by this Polish cameraman, Zbigniew Rybinski. He's almost like the co-author of the film almost, and I think there was some conflict with Gerald Cargill because he kind of was at this point a frustrated director. But Zbigniew Rybinski had, I think, won an Academy Award for a short film. He was an incredible cameraman. And this film has virtuoso camera work. That most of the film is shot from a very high angle looking down. Even the interiors are shot from these incredible camera systems that it looks handheld, but it's like 10 foot off the ground looking down with very wide lenses. So everything is distorted, and we get this idea that this film is directly through the eyes and consciousness, the distorted consciousness of this psycho killer. And there are all kinds of these gigantic, incredible crane shots in the exteriors, and all of these very, very incredible virtuoso camera work. There is this shot, the signature shot in this film, which where the camera is mounted on a ring that's actually on the killer's body, where he's running or walking. The shot, which later showed up in Darren Aronofsky's Pi and Spike Lee films and music videos, where the camera is bolted to a person as they're walking, so you have this weird perspective of the rest of the world moving while this person is standing still. as far as I know, this is the first film which utilized that kind of camera mount. And again, it's just another technique which the director uses in order to put us in the perspective of the killer as he's running away or doing things. Really, in an incredible film. There's almost no dialogue in the film. The film is, again, this ever-present voiceover from the beginning of the film, where we have this killer talking to us and giving his motivation and giving his what he's about to do and what's happening. And I guess it's what he did, because the narration feels like it's in the past tense, but it just feels like this ever rush of ideas. It's just coming and coming, and it just, the film feels like this rush of adrenaline as we're following this killer as he's going about his rather scattered plans. He's definitely what you'd call, I think, a disorganized serial killer. He's he just runs and then finds a house in the middle of nowhere. A very unique film, a good serial killer film. There's not too many good serial killer films that are this kind of transgressive and strange. The lead performance by Letter is incredible. A very physical performance, because most of this film is like shot in with these extended takes from, as I said, using the incredible camera mounts and cranes as this guy is running around, and there's the scene toward the end where he's moving around all of these bodies, and you're like, my God, he does it all in one take. This little thin as rails guy, he's moving around these bodies. According to the director, the actor really relished this unique kind of role. He had grown up in a psychiatric institute actually run by his father, so he had a lot of background knowledge about people who had schizophrenia and who had mental issues. So I think he brought that into the role, and it really is an incredible role. And the music by Klaus Schulze of Tangerine Dream, electronic, percussive, not as impressive as some of the stuff that Tangerine Dream did, but again, there is this musical track, I think, toward the beginning of the film that was used also in Manhunter. I believe some of the music from Angst was used in Manhunter. And then there was the French version of this film, which had a prologue where they actually go and we see the initial murder or attack on the old woman. I don't think it's really needed. The later DVD and then the Blu-ray release, which is throughout Europe, is the director's cut, supposedly. And it is kind of controversial in the sense that there's a final assault on the film, contained in the film, and it's in this dark tunnel, and in the original VHS versions it was a lot brighter, and the director has gone in and made it darker. And a lot of people have argued that based on some of the comments that he's made, that he would, if he had to make the film again, he would kind of tone down some of the violence, because he felt that the suggestion worked a lot better than some of the rather explicit violence in the film, the explicit bloodshed. But I think a lot of people hold on to their old VHS copies of the film, or there is a VHS version that's been circulating of the Schizophrenia cut, the French VHS, which has the murder scene at the end very bright. But honestly, I think he's done a lot of stuff to the color grading at the end just to make it work, because the scene is supposed to take place in an underground tunnel after sunset. So having it be this bright scene is kind of counter to the whole, the setting, the actual setting, the fact that it's supposed to be taking place at sunset. And then the aftermath, the morning, the bright morning, where this serial killer has to come to terms with what he's done. There's always a conflict with a serial killer. There's that moment in the car at the end where he's looking through those photographs, and you feel kind of a tinge of remorse in some sense. I don't know. He's a very disorganized personality here. Oh my God! Oh, a powerful film. Yeah, definitely. In my opinion, heads above the Henry Portrait serial killers and the other serial killer films, just based on its just technical virtuosity and this incredible kind of journey, this subjective journey into the life of a serial killer. Oh man, Angst. Yeah. Great film.